हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू फिजिक्स क्लासेस बाय मनोज श्रीवास्तव। आज हम करंट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लेक्चर थर्ड पर पहुंच गए हैं। इसमें मेन कंटेंट्स ओम्स लॉ, रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ कंडक्टर एंड प्रूफ ऑफ ओम्स लॉ होगा। इसके पहले हमने सेकेंड लेक्चर में रिलेशन डिस्कस किया था, ड्रिफ्ट वेलोसिटी इक्वल टू करंट I upon NEA equal to J upon NE, in which VD drift velocity, I current and number of electron per unit volume, area of cross section and J current density। ये रिलेशन हम पहले डिस्कस कर चुके हैं। अगर किसी को प्रॉब्लम है देन आप आई बटन में जाकर इसको क्लियर कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, आज का लेक्चर स्टार्ट करने के पहले हम इस इन रिलेशंस पर बेस्ड एक क्वेश्चन देखेंगे जिससे आपको प्रीवियस रिवीजन हो जाएगा एंड देन फिर हम डिस्कस करेंगे आज के कंटेंट्स को। ओके, तो पहले हम देखते हैं यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन द above relation। Here question is given, current is flowing from a conductor shown in figure। फिगर आप देख सकते हैं, this is conductor of non-uniform cross section। A1 is the cross section of conductor broader as compared to area cross section A2। Here current flows in this conductor। We have to find a relationship between I1 and I2, current density J1 and J2 and drift velocity VD1 and VD2। Clear? Using this relation। Clear है? So first you note the relation VD is equal to I upon NEA and this is equal to J upon NE। In this first we have to find a relation between two currents। I1 suppose here passes from this area of cross section and I2 from area of cross section A2। As we know that the definition of current I is given by the rate of flow of electric charge dq by dt, and this is not depends on here, so it will be constant and therefore this is constant, therefore I1 will be equal to I2 and this will remain constant। Understand? Means same current flows through the two cross sections 1 and 2। Clear? Now our second relation is a relation between current densities J1 and J2। So here we know that to obtain this relation, as we know that definition of current density is J equal to I upon A। As we know that current is same from the first relation, current is same, so current density will be J1 upon J2 and equal to A2 upon A1 because J is inversely proportional to A। So J1 upon J2 equal to A2 upon A1, as it is clear from this figure A1 is greater than to A2, or you can say A2 is less than to A1। So from above relation we can say that the current density J1 is greater than to current density J2। Sorry, current density J1 is less than to J2 because A2 is less than A1, therefore J1 is less than J2। So this is our second relation, and third relation we have to find a relation between drift velocities from these two cross sections। As I discussed, drift velocity VD, this is third relation, VD is equal to I upon NEA, and this is equal to J upon NE. So from these two relation you can see BD, either you can see here BD is inversely proportional to A or directly proportional to J. Clear? So it is clear from the second relation, J1 is less than J2. So VD here is directly proportional to J. So drift velocity at section A1 is less than drift velocity of section A2. So this is our question based on previous lectures. I hope all of you understand. So now I am going to discuss Ohm's law. Today's first topic. Basically, Ohm's law gives the relationship between voltage and current. Clear? First you note down definition. According to Ohm's law, if physical conditions like temperature, pressure of given conductor remains unchanged, then potential difference applied across the ends of conductor is directly proportional to the current. I that flows through the conductor. Okay, you understand? Again you listen. According to Ohm's law, if physical conditions like temperature, pressure, length, area of cross section of given conductor remains unchanged, then potential difference applied across the ends of conductor is directly proportional to the current I that flows through the conductor. Clear? Suppose this is a conductor AB. It is connected with a cell of variable potential or variable EMF. Now, if key is pressed, then suppose potential difference V is developed across the end of conductor. As a result, current I flows through the conductor. Now, according to Ohm's law, then according to Ohm's law, at constant temperature and all, V is directly proportional to I. This is a statement of Ohm's law. Clear? It means if V increase, then I also increases, and if V decrease, then I also decrease. Clear? So basically Ohm's law gives the relationship between voltage and current for the given conductor. Understand? So please note down. Okay. So as according to this, V is proportional to I. When proportionality sign is removed, then one constant is multiplied, and this constant basically known as a resistance of material of conductor. Clear? R is constant and it is called resistance of material of conductor. What is the cause of this resistance or causes of this resistance? It depends on nature of material and second one, collision of free electrons with ions. Understand? So this is Ohm's law. Now I am going to discuss here resistance of conductor. So first note down the definition. Resistance basically it is defined as the opposition offered by the material of conductor. In the flow of current. Resistance defined as the opposition offered by the material of conductor in the flow of current. It is denoted by R, and from Ohm's law it is also defined as by Ohm's law it is defined as R is equal to V upon I. That is voltage according to Ohm's law. Resistance defined as voltage per unit current. Clear? So again you listen the definition of resistance: the opposition offered by the material of conductor in the flow of current is called resistance of conductor, and it is denoted by capital R. Clear? Or according to Ohm's law, the voltage per unit current is known as resistance of conductor. Now the unit of resistance SI unit of resistance, it is obtained by using the relation R is equal to V upon I. As we know that V measure in volt and current I measure in ampere. So volt per ampere is known as ohm and it is represented by omega. So SI unit of resistance is ohm. Clear? Dimensional formula. Also you can estimate by using relation R equal to V upon I. V equal to, we know that W upon Q and I is equal to Q upon T. So it is Q square into T. Then put the value of dimensions of W, Q and T. So here, as we know that the dimensional formula of work is m1 L square T minus 2 divided by Q square, and here the dimension of T is T1. So the dimensional formula of resistance is m1 L square T minus 1 and Q minus 2. It is in terms of charge, and as we know that here Q is equal to A into T, ampere into time. It is obtained from the relation Q equal to IT. Clear? So instead of Q you can put AT. So another dimensional formula of resistance is M1 L square T raised to the power minus 3 and A raised to the power minus 1. Clear? So please note down. Okay, now I am going to discuss here VI graph. For ohmic conductor. Ohmic conductor, you know, which obeys Ohm's law. So VI graph for conductor or ohmic conductor. As we know that at constant temperature, for ohmic conductor V is proportional to I. Clear? So you can take voltage on y-axis and current on x-axis. Voltage on y-axis and current on x-axis. Clear? It is when we know that V increase, so I increase. Clear? And vice versa. So this graph will be a straight line and passes from origin. As when voltage V is 0, then current is 0. Voltage gradually increase, so current also gradually increases. Understand? The nature of this graph is a straight line. You can see nature of this graph is a straight line, and slope of this graph, suppose here it is at I1 current, V1 voltage, and at last suppose it is I2 current and voltage is V2. Means when V1 voltage is applied, current is I1, V2 voltage is applied, current I2. So slope of this graph here is gives the resistance of conductor. Understand? So from this graph you can see slope of this graph provides constant value and this is known as resistance. Clear? So this is Ohm's law and resistance of the given material of conductor. Understand? So please note down. Okay. Now I am going to discuss today's last topic, proof of Ohm's law. So to prove Ohm's law, consider here AB is a conductor of length L and area of cross section A. When potential difference V is applied across the end of conductor with the help of this cell or battery, it is clear that an electric field is developed across the end of this conductor. As a result, electron start drifting with velocity Vd from its lower potential end towards higher potential end. As a result, current I flows through this conductor. Okay, if suppose n is the electron density, n is the number of electrons per unit volume, then from relation between current and drift velocity, you know what is the relation between current and drift velocity? Yes, Vd is equal to I upon NEA. So therefore current I is equal to NEA into Vd. This is first equation where N is number of electrons per unit volume, A area of cross section, and Vd drift velocity of free electrons. Clear? So this is first equation. Now we know that drift velocity Vd is equal to E tau upon m into capital E. Clear? And capital E is equal to V by L. So this relation also you can write E tau upon m and E is equal to V by L, where the terms here you can see E with a charge on electron, tau relaxation time, V potential difference, V is potential difference between the ends of conductor. So here it is second equation. Now put this value in first equation, so we have I is equal to MEA and the value of BD is equal to E tau upon M into voltage upon length of conductor. Now simplify it. I is equal to E square tau upon M and A upon L into V. Understand? So rearrange this term. V upon I is equal to, you rearrange this, V upon I is equal to M upon ME square tau into L upon A. Okay, this is third equation. I hope all of you understand. Now again I revise. We know that the drift velocity Vd equal to I upon NEA. I current and number of electron per unit volume, area of cross section. So I is equal to NEAVD. As we know that drift velocity is equal to E into tau upon M into E, and E is equal to, we know that, V by L, where tau relaxation time and V is the potential difference. Clear? So put this value in first equation. So we have, after simplify, V upon I equal to M upon NE square tau into L upon A. Okay, now you note down. Yes. After that you can see as M and E. It is the mass of electron, E is the charge on electron. It will remain fixed. It is fixed for the given conductor, mass of electron and charge on electron. Now L is the length of conductor, remains fixed at constant temperature. Clear? If temperature is constant, there is no change in length of the given conductor. Same way, area of cross section is area of cross section it also remains constant at constant temperature. Understand? Area of cross section also remains fixed at constant temperature. Electron density and electron density, it is also constant at constant temperature. Clear? So it is clear that in this expression, length, area of cross section, electron density, all are remains fixed with fixed temperature, and here T is the, tau is the relaxation time, relaxation time, it is also fixed. It is also constant, at constant temperature. Understand? That means if temperature of conductor remains constant, then length, area cross section, electron density and relaxation time, all these quantities remains fixed or constant. That means here in the third equation these all terms remains constant at constant temperature. So here these quantities named resistance of material of conductor. Understand? Therefore these quantities known as resistance of material of conductor. So from third equation we know that V upon I equal to R. It is equal to constant, or V is proportional to I. Understand? This is true Ohm's law. Clear? I hope all of you understand this derivation and all the contents of this lecture. So thank you very much for watching this video or this lecture. Okay, thank you.